Today we're going to talk about the picanha. The picanha is a fantastic cut of beef. It's from the sirloin. It's called the sirloin cap because it's at the top of the sirloin primal. And it's used for classic Brazilian barbecue. It's also something that's awesome for regular American style grilling as well. So this is a picanha. It's also called the culotte, and it has this really awesome, really delicious fat cap. But if we flip it over, you can really see the grain on this, and the grain runs pretty much along this. Now there's two ways to cut this. We've learned we should always cut against the grain. We're going to cut this into steaks, and when you do that, we're going to cut with the grain, and that way when you have the steak, you or your guest will cut that steak and it'll be against the grain. It'll be fantastic. If you're going to cut this and put it on skewers, like a Brazilian style barbecue, you want to slice against the grain. When you take that cut of meat and wrap it around the skewer and slice it off, it'll be against the grain. But we're going to cut this into steaks. Again, this is running this way. I'm going to go ahead and turn that in my direction. And we're going to cut this along the side so it's with the grain. And I like to cut my steaks about 1.5 inches, at least 1.5 inches, maybe 1 3/4 inches. If I eyeball this, I think we can get 3 really fantastic steaks out of that. So that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to start right here, protecting our hands. We're cutting it with the grain. It's got that fat cap. We always try to cut in one direction so we have a smooth face. Let's take a look. So there it is. We've cut it with the grain, and so when we take this and cook it, and you or your guest cut it this way across the grain, it's going to be tender, it's going to shorten that muscle fiber and be really delicious. So we've cooked our picanha. As you recall, we cut it into steaks, we cut it with the grain, and now you can see that steak has that grain that's really clearly marked. And now, let's pretend we're having a bite. We're just going to take that and we're going to cut across it. Boy, that's a beautiful steak. Got that nice fat cap. See the way that looks. But if you take a look at that, you really see that grain. It's such a juicy steak, and that fat cap adds additional flavor. That is the culotte or the picanha. You can roast it whole, cut it into steaks like we've done here. Give that one a try.